Hello again, Struck12. Today I'm bringing you another video about Torchlight 3, and this one is my updated 2021 edition of the Sharpshooter Skills Showcase. With this video we would be showing you all sorts of things about every single skill, such as items that you might want to use. I would be mentioning some of the ways that this skill can be combined with other skills, and in general my thoughts on each of those skills. I would be starting with a major skill mechanic in the Sharpshooter, which is amazing, the reload skill, and I would be moving to the damage skills, to the precision skills, eventually showing you some of the mobility that you can get, and then moving on to adventurer skills and utility skills. Overall, the Sharpshooter is an amazing class, and it's one of the easier classes to get the hang of early on without that difficult of a class mechanic. And it's all about just juggling the adventurer skills with the precision skills, but that's not a must-have to do, unlike the Dusk Mage, Dark and Light skills that need to be balanced at all costs. So, as I mentioned, the first skill we're going to look at is Reload. It's an amazing skill in the arsenal of any sharpshooter out there, be it adventurer skills based or a precision skill based, or one that's more of a balanced act, because with this skill you can recharge the charges, as you can see on things like Scout's Bones, that allows you to shoot 3 consecutive Scout's Bones. It also allows you to do something like spamming Onslaught, or spamming explosive arrows, or other things. In general, whether it's ammo that you need, or whether it's spammability of your adventurer skills, you can achieve it with Reload. You can see now how we can do that with Onslaught, how we can spam some Onslaught, and yeah, in general it's pretty nice. So let's move on to the next skill, and this is Targeted Strikes. Targeted Strikes is one of the best skills from the precision skill tree for new players. It's very easy and nice to build around this skill. There aren't that many item synergies. In fact, they're just the two-tone pool, which is not direct synergy, but yes, it works with any precision skills, including this one, so it doesn't matter how you build around it. This skill always will be nice. Even if you use this skill as 1 point plus 2, it's still gonna be great. Obviously, maxing out the skill is amazing. And I like it, and many people I've talked to really like it, and it's again a pretty easy straight line piercing shot, very nice to use. Now here we have something else that's not a straight line, it's a little bit of a cluster of AoE, a conical AoE, and maybe they've done something with this skill because I can hit more than just my first target. So maybe they've added a little bit of piercing, because you can see I can hit the target behind my first target, and if you position yourself nicely with tight grouping, you can hit a decent amount of enemies. Yes, the cone is not as great as in Scattershot, but at least it's not just a single straight line like Targeted Strikes. And I think this skill became better over time. It used to be much crappier before, and now it's much better to use. And you can see now I was able to hit 4 or 3 of the dummies with my shots. So it's all about positioning, I guess, but it's definitely a nice skill. And again, no specific synergies other than two-tone pool. So we'll see eventually, maybe they might add some synergies for the skills that are missing, such from items. Moving on to another one of my favorite skills, Explosive Arrow. And here we do have a nice synergy, which is Herman's Masterwork, which allows you to shoot some extra explosions. And this skill has amazing sniping range. You can see I can reach the edges of my screen. If you play on ultra wide, most likely you would be able to reach to the edges of the left or right with the ultra wide, which is extra 15 pixels on each side. So if you want to snipe from afar, if you like explosions, if you want to set enemies burning for synergies like the Flaming Destroyer relic, that's gonna be a great choice, especially with the Herman Masterwork. Now Onslaught. Onslaught is your typical Rain of Arrow skill, but it has one major downside, and that is the range. Not the radius. The radius of the skill is nice. The explosions at tier 3 are nice. We're actually seeing those explosions at tier 3, and with the Storm Driver you can get extra lightning synergy, extra additional damage. So the damage is not the problem as it used to be. What's the problem is you can see the range. You can see where my cursor is, and you can see where the skill's radius is when I'm casting it. So it's keeping you very close to the enemies, and it's just not nice. I hope they increase the range of Onslaught. Scattershot, another interesting and nice skill from this class, and I love it because it's your typical big cone AoE multi-shot, spread shot, whatever you want to call it. There is a synergy with the wingspan bow, which is amazing. And wingspan builds are probably the highest damage per hit in the game you can get. Maybe not the highest damage per second, but when you're charging up a wingspan buffed Scattershot at max level, you can reach amazingly high numbers. So it's not everyone's cup of tea, but builds with that bow are definitely fun to make. Now Heartseeker is, for me, it has always been an underwhelming skill. Maybe it's the long cooldown, maybe it's because the damage doesn't match the long cooldown, maybe it's just because the skill itself is just a single projectile and it just doesn't fit, but you can see it has a massive range, it has piercing, and yeah, some people might love it, and there's the two-tone pool and the Heart Shocker as synergies that you might want to consider when building around this skill. But in general, it's an additive skill, it's not a major skill that you spam. Now, Ghost Visage is our mobility skill, and if you combine that with Revolt, you can do 3 Ghost Visage Revolt, 3 times Ghost Visage Revolt. And it's amazing. You can see now I'm doing 3 times Ghost Visage, I'm revolving, I'm doing another 3 times Ghost Visage, and with tier 2 revolt to have tier 3 revolt to have 2 charges, you can have a lot of spamminess. There's a lot of item synergies such as the Musketeer Pauldrons, the boots, the Winterweave boots, the Wanderer's Hood, and just like any adventurer skill, you can even trigger Chronometer for more reloading. Now we're moving to one of my favorite, maybe my favorite skill in the adventurer side of things, and that's Scout's Bones. This combined with the Infectious Shooter and with tier 3 revolt is just amazing. Look at all the projectiles that I'm triggering. This is with Scout's Bones, and if you do 3 consecutive ones, which is done by using Scout's Bones, reloading, Scout's Bones, reloading again, and Scout's Bones, you can have a lot of DPS and a lot of procs, mind you. For builds with the Flaming Destroyers procs or the Electrode procs, you can get a lot of decent DPS with this skill, maxed out with the Infectious Shooter and with Revolt tier 3 for the extra charge. And now we're moving to Sacrifice to Goose. Pretty decent skill. There's one item synergy there, which is the one you're gonna see equipped right now. The Lil Drake, which it's kind of underwhelming, but it's nice. If you wanna do it on a Flaming Destroyer build, it's not gonna be bad. And if you want an extra 2 egos, one on each side of the major ego, you can do that with the tier 3 bonus. I couldn't show you because I didn't have enough spare respectacles to show you, but in general with Revolt you can spam this skill, and maybe builds where you're spamming Goose won't be that bad if you have maxed out Revolt to be able to do 3 consecutive triple ego Goose casts. So other synergies would be the Musketeer boots and the Chronometer. So if you're interested in that skill, those are my suggestions. Now, Curse of PP is another interesting skill, especially if you're going for a melee basic attack build such as my melee adventurer setup. It makes the enemies cursed. It curses them in such a way where they do less damage, and this can stack up to 2 times. And with the tier 3 bonus, it can pulse twice, meaning you stack 2 times of 25 for 50% less damage that the enemies are doing. And that could stack very well if you have a Dusk Mage doing Damnation, or if you have a Realm Master providing Shield Car for the whole team. In general, it's a nice thing, and again, you can try and spam it with using Revolt and resetting its cooldown. So it's interesting, it's a nice skill. Now, Rizzi's Fate. Another interesting skill, and this one even has a summon with the tier 3 bonus. So it slows the enemies. The passive bonus from tier 2 is giving you extra damage to slow, stunned, blinded targets. And no specific synergies for the item, for the skill other than Musketeers, Boots and the Chronometer. But it's an interesting skill. I haven't made that many builds and I haven't played much with it. Because I think it's kind of underwhelming about that summon, but at least it's a ranged summon, so you can keep that in mind. At least you don't have to get it to be close to the enemies to do damage. The range is not that high. You can see you need to be a bit close to the enemies to do it, but you can, with reload, cast 3 of them with just one summon. Unfortunately, you can't have 3 of those summons at the same time. And speaking of summons, Goblin Legion is where you have some meat shield. It's not a skill meant for damage, it's meant for meat shieldiness. So you get some goblins, and if you use your precision skills, you can cast extra goblins. You summon the initial number of goblins alongside the Rifle of Leadership's 3 goblins when you cast the skill, but then if you want to summon more goblins, you would have to use some precision skills of your choosing. Again, this skill is not meant to do damage, but it can be useful for builds that are triggering some effects, such as the meteors, the fireballs that you're seeing falling from the sky, or on an electrode triggering the lightning strike. So every hit of a summoned creature has a chance to trigger procs that are on hit. So the more summons, the better it is, and the more range summons, obviously the better it is, because they don't have to get close to the enemy to hit it. They can just immediately start doing damage. In general, very good meat shield skill, but don't count on it for damage other than procs. And the other summon, Royal Shasta, which is a must-have for every sharpshooter build. Royal Shasta is one of the best things you can do to any build, because of the tier 2 bonus. The tier 2 bonus gives you, and anything that does damage on your side of things, and that's your minions, Shasta itself, you, your pet, everyone would do 50% extra damage to taunted enemies. But you have to have Shasta taunting. If you don't want to have Shasta up to taunt, you can always use tier 3 Ghost Visage to get clones to do the taunting, but I think having Shasta is not bad, because she can do some okay damage. Yeah, it's not amazing, super high damage, but it's still decent damage. She taunts the enemies, keep them away from you, so you can focus more on the damage. And if you've noticed, I was trying to demonstrate with this video here, with this footage, how my damage increases after the enemies are taunted, after you see this red mark on top of them. So hopefully you could see the difference there. But 50% damage is not something to ignore. And this pretty much sums up the showcase. To get notified when I upload more content for this game or other games like this one, which would be wooters of all varieties, isometric, third-person ARPGs, wooter shooters and all sorts of wooters like that, you could subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to not miss out on my content updates. And optionally, you can even join as a member of the Struck Club on YouTube as a channel member to get access to exclusive perks such as special emotes custom made by me, special badges custom made by me that represents how many months you have been a member for, as well as opt-in of editing tutorials that I can give for Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, as well as shoutouts and things like that. And I would like to use this part of the video to thank all my YouTube members and Twitch subscribers. Thank you for supporting the channel and keeping me going. Thank you also for watching this video, everyone. Keep it cool, Struck Club. Until next time, and goodbye.